My girlfriend gave me two choices: accept her going on a girls' trip with 3 guys, or be single. I chose option 3. Showed her dad the messages she'd been sending them. He helped me box up her stuff. That single text didn't just ruin my life, it vaporized 4 years of it in 7 brutal words. Tell him whatever you want, he'll believe it. My world imploded right there in the kitchen, and I knew, instantly, nothing would ever be the same. It was Tuesday morning. The soft hum of the coffee maker was the only sound, until Olivia's iPad, left on the counter, lit up with that notification. It wasn't meant for me. My stomach dropped before my brain even processed what I was seeing. Olivia was in the shower, the water still running upstairs. I picked up her iPad with shaking hands and opened her messages. There was a group chat titled San Diego Shenanigans with 6 people: Olivia, Sarah, Emily, and 3 guys named Brendan, David, and Ben. I started scrolling, my heart pounding in my chest. The first message I saw was Brendan talking about booking an Airbnb with 3 bedrooms so they could split up however they wanted. Sarah responded with a winky face. Emily sent a gif of someone popping champagne. Then Olivia, my girlfriend of 4 years, the woman I was planning to propose to next month, typed out how her boyfriend literally paid for her flight, thinking this was a girls' trip. Brendan replied with that original message: tell him whatever you want, he'll believe it. Olivia sent back 3 crying laughing emojis. I kept reading. The messages went back 2 months. They'd planned this whole thing as a couple's trip from the start. Brandon and Olivia had been texting separately, too. The flirting made me physically sick. She called him adventurous, exciting. In one message, she said she needed a break from vanilla. Brandon asked what she meant, and she explained how her boyfriend was like a safety net, comfortable but boring, while he was like a trampoline. I watched 4 years of my life get reduced to a comparison with gym equipment. Mr. Reliable, who pays for plane tickets while his girlfriend plans to share an Airbnb bedroom with some guy named Brandon who uses way too many flame emojis. The shower turned off upstairs. I had maybe 5 minutes. My hands shook so hard I nearly dropped the iPad. I took screenshots of everything: the group chat, the private messages with Brandon, the Airbnb listing that clearly showed it was advertised for couples. I sent them all to my email, then deleted the sent messages from her iPad. I put it back exactly where she'd left it and stood there, in my kitchen, drinking coffee that suddenly tasted like acid, waiting for her to come downstairs so I could watch her lie to my face. She walked in, wearing my old college hoodie, hair wet, smiling. She asked what I wanted for breakfast. I said I wasn't hungry. She poured herself coffee and started talking about her day, about work, about how excited she was for San Diego in 2 weeks. She didn't miss a beat. She looked me right in the eyes and talked about going to the beach with the girls, about how much she needed this time with her friends. I just nodded, watching her perform. Every word was smooth. Every smile was practiced. She'd been doing this for months, and I never noticed. I asked her one simple question: who exactly was going on this trip? She rattled off Sarah and Emily without even blinking. Just us girls, she said. I told her I wanted to make sure she'd be safe. She laughed, called me overprotective. Said it was cute how much I worried. Then she kissed me goodbye and left for work like nothing had happened. I called in sick. I spent the entire day on my couch, reading through every message again and again, like maybe I'd misunderstood something. But there was no misunderstanding. She'd been planning this for months. The private messages with Brandon got worse the deeper I went. She called me predictable. Said I was good for stability, but she needed excitement. In one message, Brandon asked if she was going to break up with me before the trip. Her response made my blood run cold. She said breaking up would be stupid because I paid half the rent, and I was her backup plan. She'd deal with that situation after San Diego. I was the guy who made sure the bills got paid while she planned her exit strategy with someone more exciting. She came home that evening around 6. I was sitting at the kitchen table with her iPad in front of me, open to the group chat. She walked in, saw the screen, and her face went completely white. For maybe 3 seconds, we just stared at each other. Then she lunged for the iPad. I pulled it back. She started talking fast, tripping over her words, saying it wasn't what it looked like, that she could explain everything. The guys were just friends. Nothing was happening. I didn't say anything. I just turned the iPad around and scrolled slowly through the messages while she watched. Her excuses died in her throat. Then something shifted in her face. The panic turned into anger. She straightened up, crossed her arms. Started asking if I was seriously going through her private messages. Said I had no right to invade her privacy. She actually tried to make me the bad guy. I asked her about Brandon. She said he was just a friend. I asked her why she told her just a friend that she needed a break from vanilla and called me a safety net. She got defensive. Said I was twisting her words. Said everyone complains about their partners sometimes. I asked her point blank why she lied about the trip. Why she took my money knowing she was planning to share a bedroom with another guy. She exploded. Started yelling about how I was controlling, how I didn't own her, how she was allowed to have male friends, how I was being insecure and jealous over nothing. I stayed calm. I asked her one more time if this was actually a girls' trip, or if there were 3 guys going. She stopped yelling. Her jaw tightened. She admitted yes, there were guys going, but said if I trusted her, it wouldn't matter. Said she was sick of me being so insecure about everything. Then she said maybe she really did need space from this relationship. I asked what she meant by space. She looked me dead in the eye and delivered her ultimatum. I'm going on this trip, she said. You can either accept that I have male friends and stop being controlling, or you can be single. Those are your 2 options. The room went completely silent. She stood there with her arms crossed, waiting for me to back down like I always did, waiting for reliable Mr. Safety Net to apologize and let it go. But something in me broke, or maybe it finally fixed itself. I stood up, walked past her to the bedroom, and grabbed my phone. She followed me, asking what I was doing. I didn't answer, just opened my contacts and called someone I never thought I'd need to call about something like this. Her dad, Michael, picked up on the second ring. I told him I needed to talk in person, that it was about Olivia, and asked if he could meet me in an hour. There was a pause, then he said yes. Olivia's face went from angry to terrified in half a second. She started asking what I was doing, telling me not to involve her parents, trying to grab my phone. I stepped back and looked at her one last time. You gave me 2 options, I said. I'm picking option 3. Michael agreed to meet me at a diner 20 minutes from our apartment. I grabbed my laptop, made sure all the screenshots were saved in 3 different places, and walked out while Olivia was still yelling behind me about how I was overreacting and making everything worse. She tried to follow me to my car, but I locked the doors before she could get in. I could see her in my rearview mirror, standing in the driveway with her phone out, probably texting the San Diego Shenanigans group chat about how her controlling boyfriend was having a meltdown. I didn't care anymore. The drive to the diner felt surreal, like I was watching myself from outside my body. For years of my life were ending, and somehow I felt nothing except this cold clarity. Michael was already there when I arrived. He's a retired Marine, the kind of guy who still does push-ups every morning at 60 and taught Olivia how to change her own oil because he didn't want her dependent on anyone. We'd always gotten along. He respected that I had a stable job, that I treated his daughter well, that I wasn't some deadbeat. He stood up when he saw me, and I could tell from his face that he knew something serious had happened. We sat down in a booth in the back corner. I didn't waste time with small talk. I opened my laptop and turned it toward him, told him I needed him to see something before I explained anything. He put on his reading glasses and started scrolling through the screenshots. I watched his face change as he read, first confusion, then recognition, then something that looked like disappointment settling into anger. He took his time. Read every message in the group chat. Read the private messages between Olivia and Brandon. Read where she called me her backup plan. Where she called me a safety net. Where she laughed about taking my money for a plane ticket. When he got to the part where she said she'd deal with breaking up after San Diego, he took off his glasses and rubbed his eyes. He sat there quiet for a long moment. Then he looked at me and asked what I wanted to do. I told him honestly that I didn't know. That I called him because Olivia gave me an ultimatum, and I couldn't think of anyone else who would understand how disrespected I felt. He nodded slowly, said he understood completely. Then he said something I'll never forget. He told me his daughter had become someone he didn't recognize and that he was sorry I had to find out this way. He asked if I wanted help getting her stuff out of my apartment. I hadn't even thought that far ahead, but the moment he said it, I knew it was the right move. Olivia's name wasn't on the lease. The apartment was mine. I'd been paying 70% of the rent for the last year because she said she was saving money. Now I knew what she was saving for. Michael finished his coffee and told me to follow him back to my place. Said we'd handle this the right way, clean and final. The drive back felt different. I wasn't alone anymore. We pulled up to the apartment and Olivia's car was gone. She'd probably gone to Sarah or Emily's place to complain about me. Perfect timing. Michael and I spent the next 3 hours packing every single thing that belonged to her. Clothes, toiletries, books, decorations, everything. He worked methodically, like he was executing a mission. Didn't talk much except to ask where I wanted certain boxes. We filled up his truck bed completely. I found a suitcase in the closet that she'd already half-packed for San Diego, and I threw that in, too. While we worked, I changed the locks on my door. I'd had the new keys made the week before, just in case. Sitting in my car, waiting for me to have the guts to use them. Michael watched me install the new deadbolt and nodded approvingly. Said I was doing the smart thing. When everything was packed, I sat down and wrote her a note. Kept it simple. Told her all her belongings were with her father and that she shouldn't contact me again. I left it on the kitchen counter where she'd left her iPad that morning. Felt appropriate. Michael took the last box out to his truck and told me he'd handle talking to Olivia when she came to pick up her stuff. Said I didn't need to be part of that conversation. He shook my hand at the door, told me I was a good man and deserved better, and drove off with 4 years of my relationship loaded in his truck bed. I sat in my empty apartment and waited. Changed my Netflix password, changed my Amazon password, logged her out of every streaming service we shared, removed her from my phone plan. I was methodical about it. Every connection severed cleanly. My phone started blowing up around 8 p.m. Olivia had come home. 37 missed calls in 15 minutes. Texts ranging from confused to angry to desperate. Asking where her stuff was, asking why I changed the locks, demanding I let her in to talk. I blocked her number. Then I blocked Sarah and Emily when they started texting me, calling me a jerk, saying I couldn't just kick someone out without warning. I watched the messages pile up for a minute, then blocked them, too. She tried calling from different numbers. I didn't answer. Around 10 p.m., my phone finally went quiet. I checked social media one last time before blocking her everywhere. She'd posted on Instagram an hour earlier. Some quote about trash taking itself out and how San Diego wasn't ready for her. 3 flame emojis, dozens of comments from people who had no idea what was actually happening. I screenshot it, saved it with everything else, then blocked her on every platform I could think of. The next morning, I woke up to an email from my credit card company. The plane ticket I bought for Olivia had been cancelled and refunded to my account. She tried to use my card to rebook, but I'd already removed her as an authorized user the night before. I checked the current flight prices. That $800 ticket was now $2,400 because she was booking last minute. I forwarded the email to Michael. He replied an hour later. Olivia had shown up at midnight, screamed at him for an hour about how I'd ruined her life, then crashed in his guest room. He said she was maxing out her credit card to buy a new ticket, and he wasn't stopping her. Said some lessons need to be learned the hard way. The week she was supposed to be in San Diego crawled by. I went to work, hit the gym, kept myself busy. Didn't check social media, didn't ask mutual friends about her. Just existed in this weird, peaceful silence where my apartment was actually mine again. Michael texted me midweek with an update. Olivia had made it to San Diego, but the trip was imploding. Brendan ignored her after the first night and started hooking up with Emily instead. Sarah was furious because Olivia's drama was ruining the vacation. They'd stuck her on the couch in the Airbnb living room while the three couples took the bedrooms. She was posting Instagram stories of the beach and drinks, pretending everything was perfect while apparently crying in the bathroom between photos. I almost felt bad. Almost. She came back from San Diego on a Sunday. I know because Michael texted me, warning that she was asking for my new address. I told him I was moving and wouldn't share where. I'd already put a notice at my apartment and found a new place across town. Fresh start, clean break. Everything was working out exactly like I'd planned. I thought maybe that was the end of it. Thought maybe she'd finally got the message and moved on. I was wrong. She was just getting started. 2 weeks after San Diego, I finally felt like myself again. I'd moved into a new apartment across town, started going to a different gym, picked up the promotion at work I'd been putting off because Olivia always complained I worked too much. Turns out I worked exactly the right amount. She just wanted me around to pay bills while she planned her exit strategy. My new place was smaller, but it was mine. No shared memories, no ghosts of arguments in the kitchen. I was sleeping better than I had in months. Michael checked in every few days. Said Olivia was staying with Sarah now because living with him meant following his rules, and she couldn't handle that. Said she'd been fired from her job for calling out too many times. Said she kept asking about me, but he wasn't giving her anything. I appreciated him more than he probably knew. The messages started coming through mutual friends first. People I barely knew suddenly reaching out, asking if I was okay, saying Olivia really wanted to talk, suggesting maybe I was being too harsh. I didn't engage, just muted the conversations and moved on. Then she started showing up at my old apartment. The new tenants called the police twice. I had to send them the documentation showing she had no legal right to be there anymore. She tried my office next, but security turned her away. I'd warned them she might show up. Then for about a week, everything went quiet. And I thought maybe she'd finally accepted reality. I was walking out of the grocery store on a Saturday afternoon when I saw her. She was leaning against my car in the parking lot, wearing an old hoodie I used to own and sweatpants I'd never seen before. No makeup, hair pulled back. She looked exhausted. My first instinct was to turn around and go back inside, but she'd already seen me. I kept walking toward my car. She pushed off the hood and stepped into my path. Started talking immediately about how she'd been trying to reach me for weeks and we needed to talk. I clicked my key fob and my trunk popped open. Started loading groceries without looking at her. She kept talking. San Diego was a disaster. Brendan turned out to be a jerk who ditched her for Emily. Sarah stopped talking to her. She had nowhere to go and no money, and couldn't I see she needed help? I closed my trunk and finally looked at her, asked her why she thought any of that was my problem. She blinked like the question confused her. Said we were together for 4 years and that had to mean something. I told her it meant something right up until she called me her backup plan and took my money to fund a vacation with another guy. She flinched, started saying she never actually did anything with Brendan, that nothing physical happened, that it was just talk, and I was punishing her for something she didn't even do. I walked around to my driver's side door. She followed, put her hand on my arm, and I stepped back immediately. She noticed, her eyes got wet, and she started crying. Said she was scared. Said she didn't know what to do. Said everyone had abandoned her, and she just needed someone to help her figure things out. The tears looked real. Maybe they were. I didn't care anymore. I told her she wasn't my responsibility. She got angry. Then the tears stopped like someone flipped a switch. Asked me what happened to the guy who cared about her. Said I used to be kind, and now I was cold. Said she made one mistake, and I was acting like she committed murder. She kept going. Said I was boring, and she'd been trying to make it work anyway. Said she stayed with me because she thought I'd eventually become more interesting. Said she deserved someone who excited her, and maybe San Diego was her trying to find that because I couldn't provide it. There it was, the real Olivia. Not the crying girl who needed help, but the person who genuinely believed she'd done nothing wrong. I unlocked my car door. She asked where I was living now. Said she just wanted to know I was safe. I told her she'd never find out. She said something about me being petty. About how real love meant forgiveness. About how I was throwing away 4 years over nothing. I opened my car door and turned back to her one last time. You're not sad about losing me, I said. You're sad about losing comfort. She started to argue, but I cut her off. Told her she didn't have a home to come back to, that her dad had helped me pack her stuff, that I'd moved to a place she'd never find, that I'd blocked her on everything for a reason. Her face went pale. She asked how I could be so cruel. I asked how she could call me her backup plan and expect me to stick around. I got in my car, and she grabbed the doorframe, started saying she could change, that she realized what she lost, that she'd do anything to fix this. My phone lit up on the passenger seat. A text from Laura asking if I was still good for dinner Tuesday. I'd met her at a work conference 2 weeks back. Nothing serious yet, just coffee and conversation, but she made me laugh for the first time in months. Something promising. Olivia saw the notification, saw the name. Her whole face changed. She let go of my door and stepped back. Asked if I was seeing someone. I didn't answer. Just closed my door and started the engine. She stood there in the parking lot as I backed out. Didn't move, just watched me leave with this look of complete disbelief, like she couldn't understand how the reliable backup plan had developed a spine. I drove away and checked my rearview mirror once. She was still standing there, alone in an empty parking lot, holding her phone like she was trying to decide who to call. I felt nothing. No guilt, no satisfaction. Just this calm certainty that I'd made the right choice. That night, I texted Michael, told him Olivia had found me, but that I'd handled it. I told him I appreciated everything he'd done. He responded immediately. Said he was proud of me. Said his daughter made her choices and had to live with them. Said I should move forward and not look back. I took his advice. Deleted every photo of Olivia from my phone. Unfollowed every mutual friend we had. Cleared out the last box of her stuff I'd found in my closet and dropped it at a donation center. Wiped the slate completely clean. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my apartment that's actually decorated how I want it. Laura's making coffee in my kitchen. Michael still texts me sometimes, checking in like I'm the son he never had. My promotion came through. I joined a recreational basketball league. Started learning guitar. Built the life I should have been building all along instead of propping up someone who saw me as an ATM with feelings. People ask me sometimes if I regret how I handled things, if maybe I should have tried to work it out. I tell them the same thing every time. She gave me 2 options. I picked option 3. Best choice I ever made. What would you have done?